Next news. Breaking news from the White House.
The fake news wants you nervous, confused, and doubting American strength. But from the White House tonight, President Donald Trump is sending a totally different message. Iran is defeated, not contained, not pressured, defeated. Trump says their ships are underwater, their air power is decimated, and the blockade is so tight nobody's playing games anymore. And now from Capitol Hill and inside the Pentagon, we're learning why this happened. The Trump doctrine is not diplomacy first, it's strength first. Total leverage second, and peace on America's terms. So what changed inside our military that made this possible? Now, why does this matter to every American family? Because weakness overseas, it never stays overseas. When enemies think Washington's soft, our troops pay the price, our allies panic, shipping lanes get threatened, energy prices get hit, and the world gets more dangerous for ordinary people just trying to raise kids, run businesses, and live in peace. That's exactly why the Trump administration's approach is such a dramatic course correction from the failed habits of the previous era. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth put it plainly, Democrats wanted to socially engineer the Department of War. And this administration had to undo that and return it to projecting power. See, that's the whole ball game. A military exists to win, deter, and protect the nation, not to serve as a laboratory for left-wing cultural experiments. And now the result is visible. The Navy is enforcing a blockade Trump calls foolproof. Iran is being forced to the table. And the message to every adversary on earth is very simple. America is no longer apologizing for being strong. Now, before I get to the full piece of this Trump doctrine, I'm going to take 10 seconds to tell you about something powerful on a personal level, about something that's been making waves lately. Now, you've probably seen the clip, Joe Rogan sitting with Mel Gibson talking about people close to him who went through serious health struggles and then saw dramatic turnarounds. Rogan brings up red light-based therapies and how they impact the body at the cellular level, and Gibson just says it straight, the stuff works. Now that got my attention because Jonathan Otto brought it to my attention. Because in my own life, I watched something very similar unfold. See, for a long time, my focus has been finding real tools that help the body recover and perform better. That's why I want you to check out Jonathan Otto's Red Light Therapy System at myredlight.com. Use NNN25 for 25% off for individual items or NNN30 for 30% off bundles. Take a look for yourself. You won't regret it. And just like strength matters in your own life, it matters in foreign policy too, because Trump is making one thing absolutely clear. See, here's the part the corporate media refuse to say out loud. This is not random chaos, and it's not some uncontrolled escalation. It's a pressure campaign. It's designed to break Iran's leverage before Iran can threaten America, Israel, or the region with a nuclear weapon. Trump says the blockade is working. He says Iran's military capacity has been crushed, but the real headline is what comes next, because the president just drew a line that no globalist dealmaker can blur. Now take a look at this here. This is Pete Hegseth just on Capitol Hill today, blasting the Democrats for weakening the war machine for America. Watch.
The Afghanistan war, the Iraq war, and the Vietnam war. Those are stunning examples to me of something that didn't go our way. We had the opportunity to execute on those wars quite well, but we didn't accomplish any mission, in my opinion, and I think you would agree on that as well.
My point is this effort is not those efforts.
That's exactly it. Is this war shaping up to be that war? Because it has every
We're shaping up to get the same kind of Democrats we got in those wars who were naysayers from the beginning, undermining the progress of troops.
We just have a conversation about the country and the nation and not about parties.
The Democrat Party wanted to socially engineer the Department of War. We've had to undo that and get it to a point where it's capable of projecting power, and that's exactly what we've done.
So I will move on, sir, and I'm going to reclaim my time.
I'm going to reclaim my time. So Hegseth laying out the Democrats weaken the war machine. Trump brings the battlefield report to the media. What they won't tell you, Iran's Navy is underwater, Air Force wrecked, and the fake news is still running cover. Here's the president earlier today in the Oval.
Militarily, they're defeated, okay? You wouldn't know that by reading the fake news, but militarily, look, their Navy. So they had 159 ships. Every ship is right now underwater. typically that's pretty good. What do you think, Jared? I mean, it's going to be hard for them to make a naval comeback. Okay, now they have an Air Force. Every one of their planes has been shot down or has been decimated. They have missiles, about 82% are gone, and they have drones, and most of them are gone. Most of the factories are mostly gone, and we have tremendous anti-drone equipment now, between lasers and that new, very special machine gun that knocks them out of the air like flies. And we use bullets instead of $1 million, missiles to knock out a $30,000 drone. So I would say Jared would tell me that with everything you just heard, typically we're in pretty good shape. And in addition, their economy is crashing. As you know, their money, they call it their money, they don't have a name for it. Their money is valueless. They've got inflation that nobody's ever seen before. Other than that, I think they're doing quite well. If you read the New York Times, you'd say they're doing wonderfully because it's fake news. Or if you watch CNN, I mean, you cover it all the time. You think they're doing well. Do you think they're doing well where they have no Navy, no Air Force, no anti-aircraft apparatus, other than what they may have put there? They may have brought in some light stuff during the ceasefire, and we know exactly where it is, so it'll be knocked out within the first 15 minutes.
Within the first 15 minutes, gone. Trump spelling out the damage to Iran's military, now zeroing in on the blockade, calls it foolproof, and gives credit to the U.S. Navy and the military that he rebuilt.
The blockade is genius, okay? The blockade has been 100% foolproof. It shows how good our Navy is, I can tell you that. Nobody's going to play games. We have the greatest military in the world, and I built much of it during my first term, and we've been building it since. And the greatest anywhere in the world, nobody even close. And you see that, whether it's Venezuela, and they have a good military in Venezuela, but it was over in one day. It was actually over in about 48 minutes. Iran, the same thing. I mean, militarily, we've wiped them out. They have no military left. It's all the Navy's at the bottom of the sea. The Air Force is never going to fly again. We've got an amazing military. Now they have to cry uncle. That's all they have to do. Just say, we give up. We give up. But their economy is really in trouble. It's a dead economy.
They're going to have to cry uncle. So Iran's military is crushed, boxed in at sea. Now Trump turns to the talks and draws the line in plain English: no deal unless Iran gives up any path to a nuclear weapon.
Depends. We have talks. We're having talks with them now, and we're not flying anymore with 18-hour flights every time we want to see a piece of paper. We're doing it telephonically, and it's very nice. I make a call, or I have my people make a call, and you know the answer. I always like face-to-face. I consider it better. But when you have to fly 18 hours every time you want to have a meeting, and you know what the meeting's all about, and you know they're going to give you a piece of paper that you don't like before you even leave. It's ridiculous. They've come a long way. The question is whether or not they're going to go far enough. So at this moment, there will never be a deal unless they agree that there will be no nuclear weapons.
No nuclear weapons. Pretty simple, right? You see, President Trump just said it flat out. There will never be a deal unless Iran agrees there will be no nuclear weapons. That is the aha moment. This administration is not using military pressure to crawl towards another weak, loophole-filled arrangement like the disasters sold to the American people in years past. It's using overwhelming force to dictate terms from a position of total strength. Trump says Iran has come a long way, but the question is whether it will go far enough. Translation: surrender the nuclear dream or keep facing the consequences. That is peace through strength in real time. After years of elite failure, America finally has a commander-in-chief who understands that peace is protected by power and not paper. So let's sum it up. The Trump administration rebuilt military focus after years of leftist social engineering. The Navy locked down the blockade. Iran's military capabilities have been smashed. And now the president's holding the line. No nukes, no deal, period. That is what leadership looks like. Not apologizing, not begging, just winning. So the media can sneer, the Democrats can melt down, and the foreign policy establishment can clutch its pearls, but the result is obvious. America is back in control, and our enemies know it. Now, if you agree that peace comes through overwhelming strength, not weakness, share this report right now. Drop a comment below and answer this yes or no question. Should Trump refuse any deal with Iran unless it completely abandons nuclear weapons? And if you haven't done so yet, I'm not sure what you're waiting for. There are hundreds of patriots just like you who have already done this. They've texted raw feed to 844-840-4963. They're already beating the algorithm. They're already getting the messages sent directly from me to their phones when YouTube refuses to send notifications. Make sure you do so. Text raw feed to 844-840-4963. Check out the Next News merch shelf below this video. I'm going to sign off with this. America First works. And President Trump is proving it again.
The system controls information. Information control is power. I want you to see this. The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now.